Since this is the first class of the batch, uh, just one second. Let me. Okay, guys. So before I start, this is going to be very much a dialogue rather than a monologue. So, if you have any question, any doubt, just feel free to ask me. Okay. Okay. So now, we are starting off with the session. This given this is the first class of level 2 of this particular batch. I would like to share certain insights about level 2 because all of you have cleared level 1. So you kind of now know about the CFA program, etc. I don't need to explain you about what CFA is all about. That is something which you all know. However, how level 1 is different, level 2 is different from level 1. What are the challenges? What are the key points basically that as a student who is starting level 2 should know? When you started level 1, you must have known a few basic facts. Okay, this is the resource that I have to look at. These are the types of exam structure and pattern. This is something the subjects are, etc., etc. So those basic information I have to explain, as well as I have to share my analysis also with regards to the same. So how is it going to impact our exam, our preparation strategy, etc., all these things. Let me explain, or let me share a background about the level 2 exam that all of you are planning to appear for. Okay, so let me start off with the, okay, so let me write the heading first. CFA L2 important points. My screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, CFA L2 important points. Number one is exam weightage. Exam weightage. So the exam weightage of individual subjects and a further analysis of the impact of the same is something which I'm going to first share with you. Those 10 subjects which were there in level 1 are going to stay the same. However, there is a shift in the weightage, with institute dividing 10 subjects into two parts. The first category is getting weighted 10 to 15% in exam, and the second category, that is the remaining 5 subjects, will be weighted as 5 to 10% in exam. Okay, so if I'm kind of create a subject, I will split it into two parts rather than putting it into one. Okay, the first part comprises of, and the weightage is common, 10 to 15%. Okay, the subjects that include in this category are ethics, then FSA or FRA, whatever you want to say it, equity, fixed income, and portfolio management and wealth planning. So previously the subject was only portfolio management. Now the term wealth planning has been added to that. In level 1, the name of the subject was only portfolio management. However, here in level 2, it says portfolio management and wealth planning. Okay, so these are the 5 subjects which is of higher weightage in level 2, while the balance 5 subjects share a uniform weight of 5 to 10% in exam. And I think you automatically will be able to understand the name of the subjects, which is quants, next is eco, next is corporate issuers, derivatives, and the 10th one is alternative investments. So this is the split of CFA Institute exam weightage for level 2 2022. Okay, now automatically from compared to what you say level 1, you see the weightage of eco relatively declining. In terms of content size also, you will see that eco becomes a smaller part compared to in level 1. It was a standalone book, a separate dedicated book was there for eco. If I'm talking from Schweizer perspective, a dedicated book was assigned to eco. You will see the content is very small of economics. Um then you will see the increase in weightage in equity and higher weightage of fixed income. So weightage of equity and fixed income, there is a very specific focus of in level 2 in these two subjects, especially equity, because in level 3 equity will become a very important part of the entire discussion, and along with portfolio management. Relatively, it is said that if you club all the subjects which discusses portfolio management, or from exam point of view in level 3, I'm saying 55% or roughly 50% of the entire syllabus is portfolio management, because that is what the core profile of a CFA candidate is going to be, to manage wealth, to create portfolios. So that's why it becomes very important. Okay, so if that aspect be clear, that is why there is a drift in weightage that you will see, eco going down relatively, and equity and fixed income weightage has increased. Okay, from okay, then now if you take the expected number of questions, as I told, I will share a bit of a detailed analysis, because this is something which I expect all of you to know before you start your preparation for level 2. If I am using this weightage to calculate the number of questions, the minimum and the maximum number of questions that is expected in exam, I will come to the exam structure after sharing this particular schedule with you. Okay, expected number of questions subject wise. Okay, so I would say, because the institute has given a range, minimum number of questions and maximum number of questions. Okay, ethics, FR, equity, fixed income, portfolio management, and wealth planning, all these share the same score, that is minimum of 10 questions and a maximum of 12 questions that you will see in exam. Okay, I will come to the Vinet format, the exam structure and everything, but let me first share this content with you. Okay, while the second aspect or the second leg, that is quants, eco, corporate issuers, derivatives, and AI, all these share the weightage, the number of questions that is expected, a minimum of 6 question and a maximum of 8 question. This analysis is going to change your perspective about viewing the subjects, because the structuring has been such, and I would say that those who have designed this are really very intelligent. They have designed it in such a manner that you cannot leave any subject, especially more applicable in level 2, because obviously a high weighted subject is out of scope for be left. When I say left, nobody is going to leave any subject, but the level of focus, the level of attention that we used to give in level 1, say for example, usually we used to say that okay, give more focus on FR, give more focus on ethics, because they are very high weighted subject. the number of questions and what you can say, the number of questions from these subjects were very high, so automatically in the total score they have a higher say. Okay, however, in this pattern or in this particular structure, the higher weighted subjects has to be given the maximum attention or the equal attention, while the lower weighted subject, the problem with these subjects is that the scope of error is very narrow. You only see a very less number of questions. See, in quants, eco, corporate issuers, you will have only 6 questions. So even if you make a mistake of 1 question or 2 question, automatically you are down to 66 percentile or somewhere. I'm just taking 66% of the questions are only correct of yours. So automatically the game goes against you. That is why the scope of error is so narrow, even in 10 to 12 question, or see, the number of questions that you get from each and every subject is so narrow that automatically it is going to have a great impact on the percentile result that you will get from institute, because they give subject wise percentile result. I think I shared my students result who scored above 90 percentile last 2-3 days, because I think 2-3 days ago level 2 results for November attempt was came out. Okay, but however they give a subject wise percentile result, and that is going to create a very important impact. So the scope of error is very, very narrow, and higher level of accuracy is expected from all of you. This exam pattern showed it to clear. If I give only this information, it is kind of okay, 10 to 15%, 5 to 10%. This is not giving you a detailed information. But when the presentation goes like this, and when you back calculate from the percentile point of view, the maths change altogether. Your perspective to look at the level 2 content changes altogether. So institute message is very clear with this kind of a design, that you have to be very, very thorough with your content. The scope or margin of error is very narrow. If you lose 1 question, perhaps you lose your percentile in that particular subject, kind of a thing. Okay. Any question, any doubt? You can unmute and speak, or you can feel free to ask. You can message also, like use chat box also. Okay, no questions.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, please, yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, what if I plan to skip quants?
Skip parts.
Skip quantitative analysis.
As a subject?
As a subject area.
Then how is it like your score will be like driven down by that particular thing? So how will it like work? You want to skip a particular subject altogether?
Entirely, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, that's not going to work. I don't think that's going to work. You are risking your exam.
Okay.
Here we are talking about you cannot make error. Room for error is very low, and you are saying that
you already talked about that.
Yeah,
you are right, sir. You are right, sir.
Yeah, so that is why I mean that should not be a strategy. That is basically you are risking your exam, I would say. If you do that, you cannot neglect a particular subject. You like the last quarter result, the latest result in November 21 was 46 percentage. So if you do that, I won't say that you will be outrightly out of the scope of exam, but I don't think that
that will not be a good strategy.
No, definitely not. As a teacher point of view, I cannot suggest that, but you can, then that will be your risk basically.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, exam structure. Exam structure. Either 4 or 6 questions. So in level 1, you used to get a single MCQ based questions, correct? Like one question which is independent of the other in the subject. Again, the second problem, that second challenge you will see in level 2. I'm coming to that part. Per question, you
Okay,
have
press.
3 points. Yes. Per question, you have 3 points. Does anybody want to say something? Okay. Per question, you have 3 points. Okay. And third is Vinet or item set based questions or item set based exam. Now, let me first conclude first 3 points and then I will move to the next part. Okay. Either 4 or 6 questions. What does it mean? It means that first, you will not be getting a single questions in exam like you used to get a single MCQ in L1. Here, it will be a case study based approach. So you will get a paragraph, maybe a half a pager, 1 pager. It may stretch to 1.5 page also. You will get a paragraph or a case situation, which is called item set or Vinet. And based on that paragraph, you will be tested. You will be given either 4 questions or 6 questions. That is at the discretion of institute. So in quants, you may get only 4 questions in one set, and then but in you may get 2 sets. If you get 4 questions from one set, then you may expect a 2 set or etc. That I will come to that a bit later. But either 4 questions or 6 questions based on the Vinet. Okay. Per question 3 points. So that is the scoring and a item set based exam. The problem with this kind of structure is that you cannot game skipping any particular part, because if they frame a Vinet, suppose there are 5 readings, in quants, and as I mentioned the structure over here, that either you will have 6 question in quants minimum or 8 questions maximum. Okay. Now suppose institute this time goes for 6 questions, that means you will get only 1 Vinet, because either 4 or 6. So if the total number of question is 6, that means only 1 Vinet will be shared. And that 1 Vinet is only based on, supposedly it's only based on regression, and that is your weak area. That means what? Quants as a subject is gone for you. If you make 2 or 3 mistakes, automatically your percentile is going to be very low. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that in level 1, if you left a particular portion, it was never suggested, but if you left a particular portion, the cost of that leaving was only maybe a 1 or 2 question. That is the maximum cost. So if you are doing accurately all other questions, you can still expect to score maybe a 90 percentile or at least above 70 percentile. However, in level 2, the questions can be, what you can say, condensed and what you can say, concentrated on only one particular part. So if that concentration happens and if it goes against you, then automatically that particular subject is gone, because you may perhaps see only 1 Vinet or max to max 2 Vinet from all these subjects. In both the session I'm talking about, this is not for one session, this is for both the sessions, morning and afternoon. So again, the chance. Hello, yes.
Sir, may I ask you a question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, in one Vinet, multiple concepts will be tested.
Yes, multiple concepts can be tested, and it can be a concentrated Vinet only testing one particular reading also. That depends on institute.
Okay, so multiple reading in one Vinet also can come, right?
Yes. So suppose regression, the Vinet is related to regression, but they can also ask you about back testing, a theoretical part, or maybe machine learning, which is part of quants. So that Vinet questions can be structured, that can be scattered, that can be concentrated. It is purely at the discretion of institute.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So basically, you don't have any scope to leave any particular topic as well, any particular section, any particular portion. You should not do that. You have to master all the concepts. If you want to actually clear level 2, you have to master all the concepts. Basically, this is what institute again wants to say indirectly. They're not saying it directly, but the structuring is such that you will be automatically come to the same conclusion. Okay. In level 1, your structuring was clear that in morning session you will get questions from specified subjects, and in afternoon you will get questions from specified subject. There is no such specification that is there in level 2. So a random subject testing in morning and afternoon session, in morning and afternoon session. It may so happen, if there are I'm taking quants example, you can relate it to any subject. If there are 4 item sets, then one may come in morning, one may come in afternoon, and any structure that institute wants to follow. So there is no specification. Okay. Now, number of questions. Total number of questions is 88 in total, including both the sessions. Okay, that is 44 questions per session that you will get. Now, if you will be doing the maths also, let me write it. Duration of exam. Duration of exam is 2 hours and 12 minutes per session. That is a total of 4 hours and 24 minutes total exam duration. Now, if you do the maths that how much time you get for one single question, so the maths will come to 3 minutes per question. Time per question is 3 minutes. If institute is giving you 3 minutes per question, you can yourself think about a relative difficulty level that they would be expecting you to test at. In CFA level 1, the time per minute was different, and here the time per minute, I think it was 2 point something minutes per question, and here it is 3 minutes. So automatically there is a drift, and you will you have to read the Vinet also, and you have to answer the questions also, and both you have to do it in this particular time frame. So there is expected to be a time crunch. If the Vinet are very long, 1.5 page, and especially in CBT based format, when you have to scroll it up and down, which will cost you certain seconds of the total time that you have, or certain minutes in totality, then automatically this becomes a difficult part. If Vinets are long, you have to be prepared to speed up your reading skills, especially on computer, because generally when you are solving questions, reading it from a piece of paper and writing it or solving it is relatively more faster compared to when you do it on the on your digital platform, on your computer desk. So that is another challenge that you will see, especially with the CBT based format. Okay, the difficulty level is high in terms of applying the concepts. Okay, so more in-depth questions compared to level 1 are expected. More in-depth question compared to L1 is expected. total time. Okay, now preparation time. Total time to prepare for L2 as per CFAI. As per CFAI, the total time is required is 328 hours, which you convert to monthly, it comes to 27 hours per month. And if you convert it to like weekly, it is roughly 7 hours a week or 1 hour a day. This is wrong. I'm not saying institute is wrong or something. I'm no one to say that, but according to my experience, this is wrong. If you actually want to clear level 2 exam, and especially considering you all are working professionals, that means you won't be able to sit like a student, sit whole day and just focus on one thing, that is study. If that be your situation, then this maths is not for you. In that situation, I believe a student will have to invest at least on an average 2.5 to 3 hours. 2.5 to 3 hours a day. And then you can do a back calculation, assuming we are in a 6 months period, like you prepare in a 6 months period, then you have to invest, according to me, 500 hours in total, including class timings. This is what you have to. So per day, watching the video or attending a live session and self-reading and question solving, all these things should take, the time investment should be on an average 2.5 to 3 hours. If you in a weekday you can spend only 2 hours, your weekend should be more weighted towards study, so that your average time increases and you can, and this is a secured time that I have shared with you. This is a secure time. Institute has shared 320 hours, 27 hours per month, 1 hour per day. However, I am giving this time frame according to a 6-month format. That if you do this, then in 6 months you will be able to prepare yourself. Okay. If you reduce the time over here, then your prep time also increases from 6 months to maybe a 7-month or a 8-month. Okay.
So, sir,
Yes.
so can you please separate these hours? I mean, you said 500 hours, sir. So we have to learn first the concepts, right? Then only we can do practice. So if you separate the learn and practice together, how much time will it be needed for a learning process, and how much time it will be needed for practice?
Sorry, one second. You are telling me to separate 500 hours into reading and
Yeah, because our preparation, we can separate it as a learning period. Learning period in the sense that we have to be conceptually clear all the 10 subjects, all the LOS, all the readings, right?
right.
And
Yes.
then only we can move to the practice session. So can you please separate the timing with
Yes.
the learning portion on the practice time?
No, actually, the point is that see, this is not that you will have to first clear all the concepts and then move to learning. At every reading, when you complete each and every reading, suppose we started off with regression today, and next week we complete our regression reading. After that only you are supposed to solve that particular question. So it's not that you will first complete the entire quants or entire subjects and then you will move to question solving, because you will also have to keep your that thing in, that continuous practicing is important. Okay. Again, if you want me to share the split, I will share it. Just give me some time, I will share that, because I will share the strategy of preparation with you, that how you should prepare for L2. So once I move to that strategy part, I will come to that portion.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now the next set that I wanted to share with all of you is the strategy to prepare. Number one, total prep time. total prep time is 6 months according to me. That means maximum total you should spend a 6 months time on this particular doing. In this 6 months, so whatever time I shared that in 2.5 hours or 3 hours a day you have to study, in this 6 months it should be structured as first 4 months, for should be dedicated to a first time reading. That is, according to me, I always suggest to my student that if you want to actually master the content, then you have to read it thrice in the entire CFA journey. So everything you should go through thrice from reading point of view. So how we will achieve that, or what should be the structure according to me, is that for the first time reading, which will take the majority of your time, you should take, or you should take 4 months along with questions. Okay, so first 4 months for first time reading along with questions. Okay, one second. The theme over here, your theme over here should be watch the video. When I say complete a content, what I mean is watch the video or attend a live online class on that particular thing. Attend a live online class. Then the next, once you are done with this prep part, the second leg of this would be read it. So you can read it from Schweizer, you can read it from any other reference book that you want to follow. Okay. The third leg of this would be solve questions. Third leg of this would be question solving. I will come to which resources to use also. So where to study from, which are the question banks you should use, from where you will solve, everything I will share in this part. Okay, so this is the step. So when you say my one reading is complete, suppose if I want to say today my linear regression is complete, when I say the word complete, it should mean that I have completed all these 3 steps. If you have only watched the video, or if you have only read but you have not done the question solving, it's not complete. Only you think that it is complete, but actually it is not complete. So until and unless for any particular reading you have completed all the 3 steps, you should not consider that reading to be a complete, is my definition. When I say in 4 months you do a first time reading. Okay, if you are not doing consistently the question solving part, say for example for any particular reading throughout 4 months, your first reading is not completed according to me. Okay, so this strategy applies basically when you complete all these 3 steps. Number 1. Now supposedly you are done with the first 4 months and you have done the first time reading. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Question solving means a practice question from the curriculum. And
I will come to the resources. But
okay,
yes,
okay,
it includes definitely the CFA Institute candidate resources. But I will come to that.
Okay.
Theme is done. Then next is next 1.5 month. In the next 1.5 month, you will go for 6 months duration. So first 4 months in this, then next 1.5 month it should go in second round of reading, second round of revision. Rather than reading, it should be a revision because you have already read it for the first time. So second round of revision because in this part relative to reading, question solving gains prominence. In this part, I would say the split of the time, because somebody has split of the time, 70% of your time, total time in this particular part will go for reading, because you are building your concept. You don't know anything about it. So you have to first give time and understand each and every bit of the matter. And 30% of your total time will move towards question solving. This will be the split. Question solving. Okay. However, when you are going for a second round of revision, you have relatively spent a decent amount of time with the content, and now you want to do that particular thing with the help of questions. You should revise. The structure and approach would be you are quickly revising, then you are question solving the questions again. But if you see that you are able to solve questions clearly for any particular subject, say for example portfolio management, you are able to get majority of it is correct, you don't need to come back and read that concept again, because that is there with you. But suppose in quants, majority of the questions, even after doing a quick revision, majority of the questions either you are getting stuck at or you are not confident about. Then that will help us identify, okay, this is my weak area. I should go ahead and read it again or spend some more time there. That should be the structure. So second round of revision with important or with focus on or more weightage on question solving. That should be the structure. Here I would say the split of the time will change, and the split of the time will be 30% reading and 70% of your time you should solve the question. So it should be question solving. That should be the split of your time. And in this particular step only, the fourth step, basically in this particular step only, when you are in last 1 month, basically, you should have given your first mock, or you should start giving mocks. You should start giving mocks. So basically, during this particular period of 1.5 month, when you are done with 1 month and you are left with the 0.5 month, 4 months over here, 4 months over here, 1 month over here, 4 months first time reading, 1 month of complete revision. Okay, and you are in 15 days left over here and 15 days there in the final third round. At that particular point, your mocks should also come into picture. It should not be that you are just sitting and doing question solving. The second round of question, I believe you can be able to complete it in 1 month. After that, you should start solving mocks. Okay, and the fifth is the third round. In the next 15 days or in the last 15 days, basically, so 4 month, 1.5 and last 15 days, you should go for final revision plus as much as mocks as possible. As much mocks as possible. This should be the structure. If you follow this particular strategy, I believe this can be one of the best strategy according to my experience. Okay, now you can, for like every individual is different, so now you can tweak it a bit. Okay, this I will do ahead, this I will do later, something that depends on the individual. But yes, overall, this I think should be your guiding tool, basically this particular strategy that I have laid down according to me. Okay, now it depends on the individual, obviously. Any question on this part? I will come to the challenges that people will face, and then I will come to the resources and the permutation and combination of the exam questions. I will come to these three parts that is yet to be discussed. But before that, any question, any doubt till this part? No doubts, no question? Okay. The next is challenge and changes compared to L1. Compared to L1 that you will see. The first challenge that you will see is pattern of exam. Pattern of exam. Our exam of L2 is in Vinet format. Vinet pattern, and the challenge for you would be adapting to it. Because you are not used to Vinet. In level 1, there was a single question and a single MCQ, isolated from all other questions. However, in Vinet, you have to first develop the habit of reading the case study, then looking at the questions as to how to go about it. So there is a shortcut to that as well, or the tricks to that as well, that I will explain when we'll proceed ahead with our lectures. Okay, but basically the broad perspective is that you have to adapt to the structure, which is there is a case study. You have to read that, extract the relevant data, and apply those data to solving questions. So it's not a straightforward one when d1 by re minus g is given. So d is this one, d0 is this one, growth is this one, and re is this one. And then you can easily just apply the formula and solve it, d1 by re minus g, that you get the answer. No, it's going to be a different way, where you have to interpret things. You have to extract the relevant information, and that is where judgment will be involved. Institute will supply you with more than required information, trying to create confusion, which they usually do, and to actually test your ability to pick up the right data. So this is one of the challenge in Vinet format you will see. In CFA level 1, there was no confusion, because generally the structure of exam, the data points were clear, that okay, d1 by re minus g, so this is the d, this is the this, and this is the that. So there is no problem over there that you will see, that you would have seen in majority of the questions. Here it is different. Here they will give you d0, d1, then last year dividend, etc. So that what I'm trying to say is they will supply you with more than required information intentionally, so as to create a situation of confusion. Which one should I take up? And that is where the judgment and analysis and the in-depth learning is involved, and it is tested of a candidate. And be very rest assured that the other answers, other two options which are incorrect, will be according, the answers will be computed according to the incorrect numbers which is supplied in the Vinet. So that when you solve, you get the incorrect answer and you are sure of that, okay, this option matches. So that is where the understanding becomes more important. More intelligent content. The content that we will be tested at is relatively more intelligent compared to what you would have seen in level 1. Basically, this is the next order that you will see. So linear regression, those who are November candidate, they would not have read linear regression in the introduction to linear regression, which is the first reading. But those who are Feb 22 candidates, like appearing in CFA level 1 in 2022, institute has already introduced that reading in your level 1 content. It is basically, if you play a game, then when you play it for the first time, your level is easy, and when you play it for the second time, the level is hard, difficult basically. So that connectivity, but what you learned in level 1, the easy level, that same rules apply with certain additions to level 2 with advanced levels. Here also it is the same thing. So quants, whatever you have read in level 1, you can just simply assume or think that it is the next leg that you are going into, the next level of knowledge. Same goes with FR, same goes with equity. And this brings the third point, which is knowledge of L1 is expected. So it's not that you are not expected to know L1. It's expected from you, though not testable. Not testable though. So obviously you will not get questions from those particular things, the L1 content, but it goes without saying that you are expected to know L1 content and the basics of L1 content. Lastly, which I've already told, less room for error. Less room for error. Okay. The next point is now the resources to use. Okay, before that, let me put the permutation and combination. So permutation and combination of item sets that can come in exam. So you can expect either it will be for per session, it can be 11 item sets, each of 4 question with 4 MCQ, or it can be 5 item sets with 4 MCQ plus a 4 item set with 6 MCQ, or it will be 2 item set with 4 MCQ plus 6 item set with 6 MCQ. So this is the 3 situation that is possible in your exam for per session. Either you will get 4 item sets, all of 4, 5 and 4 split, or 2 and 6 split. Now why this is important? This is important because majority of the candidates has reported that it takes a certain time to read the vignette, the item set. If institute supplies you with more number of item sets, that is 11 item sets, obviously the time required to solve paper in exam would relatively go up, because you have to go through 11 different case studies, which is time consuming compared to if you have to only go with 8 case studies, which is something which is basic understanding, we all know, but this is how the split is going to affect you. So in exam, when one of the exam strategy, although these things I will share towards the end when we are towards the end of our batch, but you should at the start check what kind of item sets or how many number of item sets are there, so as to create your or prepare your mind in exam and adapt yourself to the speed that is required to solve this particular paper. Okay. And lastly, the resources to use. The resources to use. Okay. From content point of view, yes, from content point of view, Schweizer is enough. Schweizer is enough. So you don't need to look for any other resource. If you are reading Schweizer thoroughly, then no exam question is going to be beyond that. Schweizer is more than enough. Okay. And the second aspect is question solving. Question solving. question solving, the resources that you should use is our QBank. So if you register with us for the live online program, you will be given access to our QBank. It will be shared in ebook format with you. You can solve all those questions, plus you can solve CFAI end of chapter question plus CFA candidate resources. If you solve these three particular resources, then it is more than enough for you for your preparation of exam. And all these are Vinet based. So nowhere you will find the individual item set based questions. Here, everywhere you will find it a Vinet based questions. Basically. So these are the resources you should be using or adapting to. And lastly, so basically, just to give this info that today is the first class of our live online batch. This is going to be details about our batch of CFA L2. So for CFA L2, this is going to be a live online batch where every week we will be having 6 hours of live online class. We will be having 6 hours of live online class. And as part of this batch, 50% of the content of the syllabus we will be covering in live online classes, while for the balance 50% you will get recorded videos. Okay, so 6 hours of live online class every week, and 50% of the syllabus is live. As I told, 50% of it will be recorded videos. So you, whatever doubts you have when you, and recording of live classes, whatever you see, plus these, you can go over anytime. The access will be there with you till 1 year. 1 year access. So suppose today if I completed, or next class if I completed linear regression in the live class, but after 1 or 2 months you want to go over it again, the videos will always be available with you. Okay, you will have 1 year access, so you can go over it anytime you want to, again and again. And these videos you can watch from your Windows laptop. Next is the resource you will get is our QBank, so that we will share it as in ebook format with you. The next part is, since it will be a live online batch, so you will be part of continuous. So I will be continuous prep support will be there. Continuous prep support, where I will be basically conducting, closely monitoring your progress. I will give you customized study target every week. Customized study target every week, so that in a particular time frame you can complete your syllabus and you can prepare well for the exam. So this is what the structure of the batch would be.
Sir,
Yes.
how about the L2 pass rate, sir? Is it like L1 like 27 or 20%?
It is
I'm asking, what about the
L2 pass rates this time, like in November 21 exam, the L2 pass rates has been 46%, which is good. But before that, it was continuously in the range of 27 to 30%. This quarter only it has jumped to 46%, which is a good news. But in throughout last year, as you would have heard, for level 1 also, the level 2 pass rates had also declined and was in the range of 27 to 30%. But excuse me. But you have to understand that the competition is going to be high, because out of the 100 candidates who appeared for level 1, only 27 candidates who were intelligent enough could pass and move to level 2. And now this 46% or whatever 30% is, this competition is between these candidates only, because the 73 candidates cannot make it to level 2. So now they are out of picture. So this becomes the base, and out of this you have to get selected. So the competition level, the crowd now which you are dealing with is going to be an intelligent crowd. Here you cannot expect that there would be some crowd who is not like that they are appearing, because they have already cleared level 1. So if they have cleared level 1, that means they have already proven there a certain level of commitment. So that is why the competition is going to be tough.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's hope the best.
Yeah. Any doubt, any confusion, anything?
Nothing, sir. The class is really helpful, and it is clear how to prepare and what are the steps to be taken. Everything is clear.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, if you don't have any question, then we are done with the session for today. What I
Sir,
would
can I
suggest
ask
is,
a question? Last
yes,
question.
yes.
Sir, you collected information in a very good way. The information was actually scattered, but you combined all the informations at one place. It was a very good session, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, last question that I want to ask is Schweitzer enough even for ethics?
Yes, Schweizer is enough even for ethics also, but you should focus on solving our the QBank candidate resources and our QBank, because there we have put in a lot of questions, especially for ethics, in Vinet format only, and our QBanks will be in Vinet format only. So
Okay, we should practice only in the Vinet format.
yes, Vinet format.
Only standalone MCQs.
No, there is no point in doing that. If you get it, there is no harm in doing that, I would say, because you will still get to prepare your concepts or something. But if you don't, then like Vinet is what you will be appearing for yourself in exam. And Schweizer is enough. I again repeating, Schweizer is enough. But if somebody wants to go a bit ahead, they can go ahead with solving the blue box questions, examples from CFAI.
Okay, sir. Schweitzer is enough even for every subject area.
Yes, blue box examples from CFAI. This is something which you can go ahead with. But otherwise, Schweizer is enough. No issues with that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So what I was saying is basically that we end effectively our session over here in